record.
Excellent. You can see my screen?
Yeah, all good, Mike.
Okay, so, all right, this is all about making an implant gum, soft tissue model. So now we've got two lower scans here. So what I want to do is I want to just manage these objects. So I've opened up the window by dragging it. We're going to go on the outliner window, and I'm just going to create a folder. So M to move, new collection, and I'm going to type hidden. So these are just my hidden models. Then I'm going to open up this little filter section and enable this one and this one. It looks like a bit of a computer screen. This one is very important because I can hide these objects. Now I can hide it, but this one is a more permanent hidden one. So we're going to just click on that one. Now here we don't need two scans. Now these have both been aligned to each other. We can do it just with the scan of the scan body. So because we need to make a model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to align the scan bodies to this model, and then we're going to take this model to make our actual implant model. The reason why I've chosen this is because we've got a little bit of a better geometry and it extends outwards a little bit further. All right, so the first thing we're going to, actually, I'm going to hide this one as well. So M, move into hidden. Now, all I've got is this specific one. Now, we're going to have to choose our components. Now, these are Straumann, IPD Straumann. So in the components module, we load it all up, and then we look for the IPD scan bodies and analogs, navigate to Straumann, and this is the 4.1, engaging. And we can append this into the scene. But before I append it into the scene, I'll click H to hide this model, and then we're going to append this to the scene. Now this comes up directly in the middle of Blender. Please don't move it. It stays there. Now, unfortunately, we don't have IPD hasn't given us the scan body geometry for this specific scan body. So for the interim, we've just made that up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete these here, and I'm going to import the one that we've made up. So you can make these up yourself if you want to. So import, this is an OBJ file. Okay, so all open meshes are usually OBJ file. Now, Alt-H to unhide. Now, the objective is to get this one into there, but we need three of those. I'm going to just hide this again. Now, in the components module, we're going to use this menu here where it says analogs. Wolf, are you still there?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to reflect on the assembly that we see here, Michael. This is very important. We've got the scan body that you've just brought in. This is just an open mesh. Every company looks a little bit different. IPD's got these rings, okay, open mesh. But one thing that's very important is that this scan body, it has to have good vertices, because if you import scan bodies with very few vertices, the ICP alignment will just not be able to match nicely onto the intraoral scan. There's a mathematical equation that occurs. The algorithm will superimpose these vertices. So if you've got a scan body that's got very few vertices, forget about matching it nicely. So this is important. Then, Michael, if you just go out of there, part of the assembly is, well, of course, it's the analog that is sitting inside. We call it an analog sleeve. So this is the outer object. That is actually the hole in the model. So imagine this object of the hole will then be fused or unified into the model that we'll be making. So these are the three components that you get in the scan body in analog. So this is very important.
So what I'm doing is I'm toggling, I can toggle out of transparent and solid view here. And you can do it up top here with this icon as well. So this does the same thing. Now it's important to go into transparent because we want to select the scan body mesh and then B on the keyboard, box select B, and we're going to select all of these other components last. So this one stays orange, these ones stay red, and we're going to link it. Now that one turns orange, which means I can now move this anywhere I like, okay? But I can't move this. This is locked. I can't move any of these. I can only move the orange component. Now, as I've said, we need 3 of these. So I'm going to copy this. So select that, copy. I'm going to select this one again, click on copy. So we've got 3. Alt-H to unhide. Now we want to align these to the scan body. Now this is where the alignment add-on comes in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select one of them, and this becomes the moving, and then that one becomes the destination. Then we're going to place a few landmarks. Now click on place landmarks, and we have to think strategically here. Now we want to put one there to calculate this distance over here. So to make a stoppage point there. Then we need a stoppage point that goes up and down. This is what the top section is all about. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go, say I'll go on my left-hand side first. So every scan body is different. Okay, so that's one thing we need to know. So I've placed 4 points. Okay, then enter, and then I'm going to go to the model, which is my destination, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to click place landmarks, and I'm going to put one slap in the middle there, and then I'm going to move to the right side as I did with the other one. I'll put one over here and one over here, like that. Click on enter, and then we're going to select both of these and perform initial alignment. So that snaps it initially in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to perform ICP alignment. This is where the calculation happens. Now, depending on your geometry, you need to double check this. Now, I'm double checking and I can see there's a small gap, okay? This is because the geometry of the scan is bigger and it's not as precise as the geometry of the actual
Can you
one
show
that
us?
we
Can
have.
you just go into edit mode, Michael? You got my interest going.
Yeah, so we can see how that the vertices look. Now, the best thing I find here is I'm going to select the moving and I'll go tab, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to just select strategically what would make this move a bit better. I'm going to select one of these, and Control L I use a lot because it links everything next to the mesh. So Control L like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and go Control L as well. So I'm going to choose that one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a C key and just brush a little bit over here maybe, and just brush a little bit over here like that. And then I'm going to go refine proximity. Now refine proximity, what it does, it's going to select the destination mesh, everything in its proximity. So very similar to what I've painted. So I'm going to click on that, and then we're going to perform ICP. So you can see what a nice alignment we actually have over here, which is, I've lost it. It's quite good, this alignment. Now I'm not going to go through each and every one. I'm going to open up another file. So we're going to do this for each and every one. So here they've all been aligned. Okay. So Wolf, can you think of anything at this stage?
No, it's just so the ICP, the landmarks, you make sure you've got the stop, the anti-rotational stop, you've got a vertical stop, and then you put two around it. So yeah. So you're placing strategically.
Exactly. So the ICP, when it calculates exactly what you said, we want to make sure that, you know, we've got this covered, we've got this one covered, and we've got this one covered. And then we can sort of align it correctly. Okay. So the next thing is we want to make a model. Okay. Now that we've got these placed, I'm not going to use this one. However, we can use this one to make a model, but we don't have to. So I'll just put it, because I've started a new file, I'll just put this into the, like a hidden file.
Yeah, so you've got two scans overlaying each other. One's got mainly the scan bodies and the other one's made up more of the actual model of the mouth as such. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. But we can make a model with the scan body in it. So this is actually unnecessary to do this.
Right. Okay.
So the dentist doesn't really have to scan it twice. You know, it cuts the workload if you think about it. Now, I'm quickly going to examine this mesh, and we do that every time we cut and make a model. So I can see this structure there that's no good. When we cut the model, we don't want to put the arch cutting line over these sharp edges. And even down here, we want to make sure that it cuts the first time round, okay? So to do that, I'm going to go to the model designer. We're going to click on the sculpt here. And I'll just give it a quick smooth down here, because this is not a nice geometry at all. So even over here, I don't quite know what that is. So maybe that's a surgical site. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, and then while I'm at it, I can just smooth out this, because once we make a crown, that could just create chaos. Over here, just give a quick sculpt down like that. So that's looking way better. Maybe like that. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, we want a flat surface to put our arch cutting line down. So shift right click and then arch cut, and then extrude it all the way. Okay, so here it's gone straight over this edge. I want to make sure that I can avoid. Okay,
so
here
not allowed to cut into or under the surface.
Yep. So we want to have the arch cutting line always on a nice, clean, flat surface if we can. That's looking quite good. Also, when we go over these ridges, don't go over this ridge like this, okay? Because when we're extruding the model, what happens is that it extrudes this way, and then we've got problems over here, because the geometry is just going to fold over the other geometry. So we can very, very easily avoid that by just putting this arch line down sort of at an angle, okay? All right, I'm going to give myself some space, fuse the other side. If you don't want to go shift left click, just click on fuse and that'll fuse. Okay, so just double check your work nicely, that you've got a good model, because you can't go back. You know, once you've set this, you know, that's how your model is going to be. Okay, so that looks quite good. Trim it. Now, it's important that you've got two colors. If you only see one color, then it hasn't cut. Then just have a look and see where it's connected. So there, and click on clean, and then we're going to extrude this into a model.
Can you make it with a border?
I can, but I'll leave that out for now, because it's quite a complex geometry at this stage with the implant and everything. Now, always save your work as well. Save as blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, if I unhide this, we can see that this IPD, which is a housing, has a T-joint, looks like plumbing tubing or something, where you can put a screw in the side. Okay. Now, I'm briefly going to go back to the component module, and I'm going to hide the scan bodies. Hide. You can do this in the outliner window as well if you want to. But notice that if we do this, this tube is going to be outside of the model. We don't want that. That's part of our housing. So in the model designer, we're going to click on this little arrow going down like this to make it a little bit bigger like that. So in transparent mode, we can sort of see where it finishes, and that's about good like that. Now, in the components module, we're going to make this model. But before we do that, we want to add gum. Okay, so this is, if you're using soft tissue, you go to the gum module. If you're not using soft tissue, you will proceed the way it is. But let's make some soft tissue. Okay, gum module. Excellent. Are you still with me, Wolf?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, shift right click to place the cursor, and we're going to, I'll just open the menu, but draw gum, and we're going to extrude this gum around here, something like that, and over like that. And fuse it on the other side. Okay, so assuming we're happy with this gum, we're going to look at it from the top. So don't look at it from the side like this, please. Turn the scene with your middle mouse finger on the mouse to turn the scene. It's going to extrude from my eyes, away from my eyes, into the computer. So we're going to then click on design. Now, the geometry, if you've watched the videos, the geometry looks different now than in the videos, except for in this video button, we've got a few videos. And this is because it makes it a little bit simpler. Now, picture this. We've got the model, which will be down here, like this. This is all going to be model. And then this is going to be gum. Now, these are going to extrude outside of the model. Now, we don't want them to extrude too far outside. So what I'm going to do is we're going to briefly manipulate this gum tissue, this pink. So I'm going to be looking at it, and I'm going to go GZ, and we can move this upwards a little bit. And we can move this downwards a bit. So here it's overlapping a bit. GZ, move it down a little bit. So this depends on entirely on you, how much you want it sticking out of the model. Okay, so just say like this. Then we're going to solidify that, and we're going to then cut the gum. Now this is how the clearance between the two. We've got it set at 100 microns. So we're going to cut this gum. Now this is our tissue, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So we'll just repeat this process. Draw gum. Okay, we're going to click on design. We're going to, this one is okay. And we're going to then solidify this gum, which makes it a solid, and we're going to cut the model. Okay, now you may wonder, okay, now what about all of this muck here on top? How are we going to get our hole? If I hide this pink, if I hide it, you will now clearly see that we've got a model with these tubes sticking outside of the model. So in the component module, I can hide these analogs. So here, components. So this is basically what this looks like. So what's going on here?
You're going to have to unify it now and pull it out.
What is that, Wolf?
Oh, you haven't unified it to the model yet.
Oh, I haven't, yeah, I haven't cut it yet. That's correct. Okay. So this is the next step. Okay. Okay, let's unhide this. So the next step in the component module, we're going to go to this orange menu here. We're going to select the model. Okay, so select model, which puts it into transparent mode. Then we're going to select the housing and click on this one here. Don't forget to click on this one. And then that makes a duplicate cutter. And we're going to then extrude it upwards and this one downwards. Now, and then what we're going to do is these cutters come outside the model. We still have to extrude that one sideways like that. Yeah. And then we click on cut and clean the model. Okay. And then we're going to repeat this step one more time. Select transparent mode. Click on this one. Don't forget to click on that one. Up, down, outside the model. And this one outside the model. So it should look something like that. And cut, apply cut and clean the model. All right, so then one last time. Select the model. This one, don't forget this one. Up. So these arrows can go up or down, up or down. And these arrows, the bottom one will go down or up. Okay, and the side one, exactly the same thing. Outwards or inwards. Once you've got the cutter outside, apply that. So these are called cutters. And now if I hide the gum, we've got these tubes sticking outside the model like this, okay? So this is what the geometry looks like. We've got the tubes coming out like this, okay? They hold these analogs, and screw can go in from the side. Now, the last bit is we want to cut this gum. Now, the way we do that is we're going to unhide the hole cutter here, hole cutter. And we're going to open up the cutting tools. Now, this becomes the object being cut. So object being cut. And these two we're going to call inserts. So select both of them and name inserts. Now, this will make a new cutter, which is slightly offset at 0.1, and we're going to apply that. We're going to remesh that, and we're going to cut the hole. Okay, now you may think, oh, but there's still stuff there. That's because the tube has been cut. So Control-I and hide. We've got these little bits and pieces inside to get rid of anything like this. If you ever see something like this, little islands, go into edit mode, go to the model designer, and you just click the clean button, and that's it. Okay, I'll just give it a another color here because now we've lost the color. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So it's actually quite easy. This becomes the object being cut. Object being cut. That's the insert. We're going to apply this. We're going to remesh it, and we're going to cut the hole. Then tab, select, click on clean. Over here, we're just going to give this another color, and that completes the model. I'm going to hide the cutters. So this is a completed model. And if I bring in the actual components, there are the components. And these components look like this. So Control-I and hide. These are the analogs with the little screws in the bottom and on the side. And that's about it.
Excellent.
And let's save. Cool. And then from there on, we can then put our abutments on there and make our crowns or our bridge. Perfect. Okay. I hope this
Perfect.
was helpful.